A very good evening to our principal, Reverend Father Sunil Fernandez, Vice Principal, Mr. Uday Kumar, Primary School Administrator, Father Vishal D'Souza, teachers, our executive board members, delegates, and everyone present here. Having reached the climax of this spectacular event, consisting of intriguing debates and deliberations, we would like to welcome each and every one of you to the award ceremony of SJBHS MUN 2021. Faith and prayer, both are invisible, but they make the impossible possible. Ratul of class 12C will now lead us in prayer.
Almighty God, as we approach the end of this conference, we would like to thank you for the massive success and smooth management of this year's edition of SJBHS MUN. We pray for all those who helped in making this event possible, those who worked hard behind the scenes, all those who helped maintain the level of expectation and of this conference, and everybody who participated and contributed towards the success of this event. Give us the grace to grow into responsible and capable citizens, and grant us the virtues of humility and goodness. Enable everyone who attended this conference to take back something fruitful that may help them grow stronger in every single aspect, so that they may ceaselessly praise and glorify your name now and forever. Be with us, Lord, and guide us on the right path now and always. Amen.
A wise man once said, "Dance because there's no greater feeling in the world than to move to a piece of music and letting the rest of the world disappear." It is through dance that people express their emotions and sentiments. The students of class 12 will now enthrall us with their performance. Thank you for this splendid performance. It was truly mesmerizing. Gratitude is a beautiful way of expressing our feelings for all those whose time and effort were instrumental in the success of this event. I hereby invite Rochelle Avril to deliver the vote of thanks.
Silent gratitude isn't very much to anyone. Gertrude Stein. As SJBHS MUN 2021 draws to a close, I deem it a great privilege to have been chosen on behalf of the organizing team to deliver the vote of thanks. Trying to encapsulate this magnificent event and express gratitude to all involved is certainly a daunting task, but it is a challenge that I accept with pride. I'm reminded of this quote by Albert Schweitzer. At times, our light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has the cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. Our beloved principal, Father Sunil Fernandez, the captain of our ship, steers us through tranquil waters and stormy seas alike, always spurring us on towards greater heights. Thank you, dear Father, for your unstinting support in all our endeavors. Our Vice Principal, Mr. Uday Kumar, and Primary School Administrator, Father Vishal D'Souza, serve as pillars of support in myriad ways and are essential to the success of every event here at St. Joseph's. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our title sponsor, Nirus Ispit Private Limited, and our associate sponsors, Narendra Steel and Alloys. We all are indeed indebted to Mr. Mario Anthony Dunn for his magnanimous contributions and whose efforts have helped shape this event into a better version of itself. The teaching, non-teaching, and support staff deserve much kudos for all that they do to support us. Thank you, dear sirs and sirs. The executive board members, led by our Secretary General, Nikhil Anand, have been quite outstanding in terms of mentorship and have surely ensured that the MUN was conducted with the highest level of decorum and integrity. A special mention must also be made of our head of international press, Callum Arul. An event of such intricacy and complexity would not have been possible without the hard-working and dedicated organizing committee, POC, and the team of volunteers. Last but not the least, I would like to extend my gratitude to all the delegates and faculty advisors. An event is as good as the participants, and you made it incredible in every conceivable way. Delegates, I leave you with this most poignant phrase: the power is indeed yours. Thank you so very much and have a great evening.
It is a time to look back with admiration and a time to look forward with anticipation. This ceremony marks the culmination of 3 days of excitement, from frenetic debate to suave diplomacy, and quite frankly, has been the most exhilarating conference. All our delegates have truly put their best foot forward and deserve to be commended for the same. Now, we will have the announcement of the winners by the Executive Board. Firstly, we have the Special Political and Decolonization Committee, co-chaired by Alden D'Souza and Rohan Prasad. And now, I call upon them to announce the awards.
Thank you, Manasa, for the introduction. So, while I understand that everyone's very eager to listen to the awards, gratitude has to be paid when due. So before I begin, I'd just like to mention a huge thank you to the entire institution of St. Joseph's Boys High School, not just for the MUN, but for shaping all of us on the executive board into the people we are today, because a lot of who we are in debt to this institution. So I'd like to mention a big thank you to the institution itself and all the teachers who we've encountered in our journey. I'd also like to mention a great thanks to the organizing committee of SDBHS MUN 2021 for conducting a brilliant conference through all the challenges and obstacles that it faced. So congratulations on an amazing conference. Most importantly, I'd like to thank my fellow executive board members, my co-chairperson Alden D'Souza, my moderators Anshul Kurana and Kushi. There was no way we would have been able to conduct this committee as smoothly as it did without all of our accumulated efforts. Finally, I'd like to thank all the delegates for 3 days of exhilarating debate and debate that kept all of us on the edge of our seats at all times, and we weren't able to decide the awards right up until the last minute. So thank you for 3 days of brilliant debate, and now I'd like to hand over the stage to Alden D'Souza to announce the special mentions.
Thank you so much. Firstly, it was an honor to be chairing at SDBHS MUN once again, and especially this wonderful committee that we had. And I would concur with everything that Rohan has said with respect to what this MUN means to a lot of us. And once again, congratulations to the OCUN hosting a great event. And I would also thank all my fellow executive board members, Rohan, Kushi, and Anshul, who sort of handled the committee on most of the 3 days. So thank you all. So let me just cut to the chase and get to the awards. So in this committee, we'll be announcing the special mentions, best first timer, the commendable delegates, honorable HD, and then the best delegate. So I'll be announcing the special mentions. And in this committee, we'll be having 4 special mentions for, and in no particular order, the delegate of Malaysia, the delegate of Japan, the delegate of the United Kingdom, the delegate of Guinea, and finally the delegate of the United States of America. Congratulations, delegates. And then we also have the Best First Timer Award. And this award goes to a delegate who, despite being their first one, did such an excellent job. So congratulations, delegate of the Bosnia and Herzegovina. So with that, I'd like to call on Khushi to announce the Commendable Delegate Award.
The second Commendable Delegate Award goes to a delegate of Netherlands. Congratulations, delegate. Over to Anshu.
The award for the first commendable delegate goes to the delegate of Greece. Congratulations, delegate. Over to our chair, Rohan.
Coming to the the top 2 delegates of this committee. So in the spec poll, we're having only for one honorable delegate award and the best delegate award, merely because these 2 delegates were so far ahead of the rest of the committee for all 3 days. And the amount of debate that was conducted was on such a high level that it was just exhilarating to see. So without further ado, the Honorable Delegate Award for the spec poll goes to the delegate of the Russian Federation. Congratulations, delegate of Russia. And finally, the best delegate award for this committee goes to a delegate who is perhaps one of the best delegates I've seen in the past 2 years in the MUN circuit. And the level of consistency of debate that this delegate maintained throughout the 3 days, right from moderated caucuses to the unmoderated caucus to point of orders, every aspect of his MUN was absolutely amazing and a pleasure to behold. So the best delegate award for the United Nations spec poll goes to the delegate of Myanmar. Congratulations to all the delegates, everyone who placed and everyone who didn't. It was an absolutely amazing conference and hope you all had the best time. Congratulations, delegates.
Next up is the Continuous Crisis Committee, chaired by Denzel Joyson and vice-chaired by Adyot Chanakeshav. And now I call upon them to announce the awards.
Good evening. I will keep this short as best I can. So model UNs these past few years have taken a bit of a hit in terms of quality, not just in terms of debate, but organization as well. SJBHSMAN, however, stands out among most other conferences as it is one of the few that has consistently maintained a certain high level of quality, both online and offline. Now, I understand that dragging this speech on is extremely frustrating for delegates sitting here waiting for the awards, but I am slightly narcissistic and I love the sound of my own voice, so you'll have to bear with me a little. The Kuala Lumpur Al-Qaeda Summit was not without controversy. Right from its conceptualization, we were met not just with opposition, but with a great deal of confusion as well. And in their defense, this opposition and confusion came from a very valid place of concern. Why would I voluntarily create a committee in which everyone involved could possibly wind up on a CIA watch list? To this, I have one answer. It was to force people to learn. We know terrorism exists, but very few of us know why it exists beyond the surface level reason of radicalism and hatred. Few of us know beyond. And not many of us can even say we know who created the Taliban. It might be surprising to know who did when you Google it. We don't know what level of imperialism and oppression individuals have been subjected to before they have wound up deciding that violence is their best option. I'm elated to announce that at least the 20 people in my committee representing various portfolios are now much more aware of the politics of terrorism than they were 3 days ago. And I consider that an incredible win. Moving on, I'd like to thank Hemachar and Robin sir for inviting me to chair at this conference once again. It is always a pleasure to be back at SJBHS, either online or offline. I would also like to thank the school itself for having me and allowing me to indulge my unhinged fantasies of having an Al-Qaeda summit at a model UN conference. I would also like to thank the teachers in charge who were in committee over the course of 3 days and made sure that there were no untoward incidents occurring. I would also like to thank the logistics members and the moderators for ensuring that my boomer self did not have any tech issues during the course of this conference as well. I would also like to thank my co-chairperson Adyot for making sure that committee ran smoothly whenever I was caught up with directives or any other work outside of committee. So without any further ado, I will be announcing the verbal mentions and the commendable delegate awards. The verbal mentions in no particular order go to Ahmed Ibrahim and Atiya Abd al-Rahman. Congratulations, delegates. Moving on, the second commendable delegate award goes to the individual representing Saeed Al-Masri. The first commendable delegate award goes to Syed bin Laden. I will now hand over the floor to my co-chairperson Adyot to announce the Honorable Delegate Award and the Best Delegate Award.
Thank you, Danza. I'm really not one for long speeches or speeches in general, and it's funny I should be here. I'd like to thank SJBHS for having me back. It's only been a year since I left, and it's been great fun catching up with everyone I haven't met for some time now. The gap between the first two delegates in our committee was really close, and it just kept going closer and closer as committee progressed. And without further ado, I'd like to announce the first honorable delegate, Abdullah Ahmad Abdullah. Now, the best delegate award goes to Hassan Nasrallah. Congratulations, delegate. It was great fun spending these last 3 days with you, and I hope to see you on the circuit some other time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving forward, I call upon Rujul Vijayendra to introduce the other committees.
Thank you, Manasa. Up in line is the Lok Sabha committee with Vedant Bhagavasa and Chanakya Mahadev as the chairpersons, and now I call upon them to announce the awards.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say good evening to all those watching this on YouTube live stream, teachers, delegates, all of you. I just like to say that this Lok Sabha was rather a challenging Lok Sabha because this is not something that concerns a region or an agenda that focuses on one part of a community or a sector. It was something that concerns not only India, but also probably every country around the world. And due to this, the spectrum of debate was large. And I'm glad that my delegates stood out and performed to the best of their abilities and almost outshined each other on the scale of debate. Now, coming to the conference, it was an absolute pleasure to be called back. That phone call from Hemachar right at the end of August is always a pleasure to receive. And the voice at the end made me miss school so much, and also a lot of accounts homework. With this, I'd like to say that my moderators, Christine and Amanna, and my co-chairperson will announce the following awards.
I'm delighted to announce the Special Mention Award. In no particular order, it goes to the delegates representing Tejasvi Surya, Syed Imtiaz Jalil, and Meenakshi Lekhi. We also have a first-timer award that goes to the delegate representing P. Ravindranath.
I feel highly elated to announce the award for the commendable delegate, which is shared by two delegates in no particular order, Sonia Gandhi and Kiran Rijiju. Thank you.
Firstly, I would like to thank the institution for having me as part of the EB. My co-EB member, Rohan Prasad, couldn't have put it any better, that SJBHS has truly shaped who we are and provided us with the character and exposure to face the larger world out there today. This credit really must go to our teachers, especially Robinson and Hemant. Really tight, as my fellow delegates would know. So without further ado, the Honorable Delegate Award goes to the delegate representing Nitin Gadkari.
Right, delegates, the best delegate award. This delegate constantly outperformed every single person right from day one. It was an absolute pleasure to chair this delegate and to be on the receiving end of their points, chits, and everything else. The delegate moderated committee, led committee, and also was a noticeable figure in their onwards. And it is not surprised, and I'm not surprised one bit to see that this delegate has won the best delegate award. The best delegate award goes to General Vijay Kumar Singh. Congratulations, delegates, and to all those delegates who now placed, chin up, and I hope to see you continue winning and attending further conference. Thank you.
The fourth committee is the Interpol, co-chaired by Chirag Mehta and Sudhanshu Prashant. And now I call upon them to announce the awards.
Good evening to you all present here. So, being a majority first-time committee, St. Joseph Boys High School 2016 Model United Nations was the first ever Model United Conference I was a part of, and that provided me with the base sort of foundation for the majority of the personality that I am right now. So, being a majority first-time committee, discussing one of the most complex agendas as part of the Model United Nations are those fifth-generation warfare. I do hope that every delegate goes back home with some sort of knowledge or information which you have come here without. So it always feels good to get that phone call from Hemachal after you graduated ISE asking you to come back. And returning back to the other side of the dais feels really good. I would love to congratulate the organizing committee and the management on pulling off such a smooth month. Looking at the tough times we're going through right now with this pandemic, this month couldn't have been smoother. I would like to thank my co-chairperson Sudhanshu and the two amazing moderators, Anaria and Rahul, without whom this committee would have been impossible to pull off. I would like to say to all of those who have won in this committee, congratulations. And if you did not win, it will not matter in 2 days, delegates. So I really hope to see you all in future conferences. And thank you so much. Without further ado, I'd like to hand it over to Anaria to give out the best first timer and the special mentions. Over to you, Anaria.
Thank you, Chirag. It is indeed an honor, if not a privilege, to announce the special mentions and the best first timer for the Interpol. And the special mentions in no particular order go to the delegate of the Russian Federation, the delegate of Afghanistan, and the delegate of Canada. And the best first timer award goes to the delegate presenting India.
Thank you, Anaria. I'll now present the two commendable delegate awards. The second commendable delegate award goes to the delegate of Italy, and the first commendable delegate award goes to the delegate representing the country of Australia. I would now like to hand it over to my co-chairperson, Chirag, to announce the top two awards.
So being a majority first-time committee, I was extremely surprised to see the quality of debate over here, and the difference between the best and the honorable delegate was extremely thin. That was decided through a press conference. So without any further ado, the honorable delegate goes to the Kingdom of Belgium. And the best delegate for this Interpol goes to the delegate of Georgia. Congratulations, delegates.
Last but not the least, the Historic Security Council, chaired by Arav Katpalia and his vice chairperson Krishna Shetty. And now I call upon them to announce the awards.
This HSC was one of the most competitive and enthralling committees I've been in. This committee did not only make the delegates enforce the policies of world powers, but also focused on regional conflicts as the delegates struggled to overcome an infinite ideological battle. To make this even more challenging, the delegates had to work in tandem with the Kuala Lumpur Al-Qaeda Summit to truly prove themselves. I now hand it over to Krishang to announce the special mentions.
First up, we have the special mentions in no particular order. It goes to the delegate representing PLO, Palestine Liberalization Organization. And next, we have the Islamic Republic of Iran. Moving on to the Commendable Delegate Award. The Commendable Delegate Award goes to the delegate representing the French Republic. Congratulations, delegate. Now, I hand it over to Kisna Shetty.
So now, before announcing the Honorable Delegate Award, I would like to extend my gratitude to the Executive Board of the Kuala Lumpur Al-Qaeda Summit, who worked with us, the Executive Board of Security Council and our delegates, for setting up a very unique experience in the Bangalore MUN circuit. Getting to the awards, firstly, I would like to say that deviating from normal MUN parlance, what happened in our committee is that the top two awards were actually on the same side of the issue at hand. And it finally came down to the typical nuances of a continuous crisis committee in the Bangalore MUN circuit. Without further ado, I would like to present the Honorable Delegate Award to the Delegate of the United States of America. Over to Aura for the Best Delegate Award.
Thank you. The best delegate of the Historic Security Council was leading committee from the very beginning. The best delegate goes to the State of Israel. Congrats, delegates.
A new door cannot be opened unless you have the courage to close the one behind. Thus, we mark the end of this wonderful ceremony with an address by our Secretary General, Nikhil Anand.
Greetings, delegates. I remember walking into my first conference in 2014. It was an SJBHS MUN. I was very confused. It was extremely different. It was an environment that I was very unsure of. However, I was inherently a person who was involved in debate, involved in public speaking. That was the only areas that I could rely on. But unfortunately, it didn't work out. My first few conferences were extremely blank. I got a couple of good pictures, but that was mostly the end of it. But I remember one thing very keenly. I remember in my first conference, looking at the Secretary General and thinking of how cool it was to be a Secretary General, or what it took to become a Secretary General, and the amount of experience or the amount of conferences I had to attend in order to become a Secretary General. So it is kind of special because what I once saw in 2014 sitting in that auditorium in SJBHS kind of reflects back on me right now, because I'm on the polar opposite side of that dais. I'm now the Secretary General of my alma mater, and it's special in that way. So personally, I am extremely grateful, because what I once envisioned is something that's come true. I'll take that kind of principle and apply it to your cases, delegates. In 2 to 3 years, you're going to be vice chairing, you're going to be chairing, and then you're going to be heads of your own conferences of individual schools, and hopefully be Secretary Generals of future conferences too. I wish you all the best, but understand this. It didn't come that easy. There are a few of us that are privileged to be on this side of the dais and be held in high esteem only because we qualify as that due to research, due to poise, speech, intellect, and acting as a collective group. I urge you all to do the same. While you're like I addressed you in my initial speeches and in the starting of these conferences and through committee feedback itself, delegates, MUN is special in its own way. It allows you to meet new people from diverse backgrounds, holding different rationales and different ideologies, right? And that kind of diversity and collectiveness is something unique when you try and hold it together in one committee or one conference. You're collectively trying to address an issue, but at the same time trying to comply with individual responsibilities that of the states you represent. So it is not that easy. MUN isn't that easy. It never began. It never began as an easy activity in itself. However, like one of the fellow chairpersons spoke about, it is something that has diminished in quality over the course of the last few years. But I believe that every conference could give you something to take away from it. It could give you insight. It could also give you a list of reasons of stuff not to do at your future conferences, right? But everything is a learning curve. And I feel like MUNs are a beautiful platform for you to engage and understand geopolitical conflicts because we are so blind to the world around us that we don't know anything about what happens around us or even in front of us at times. So it is an extremely good way to engage yourself in the world around you. And I feel that it would only harness your probable passions to become future diplomats and future ambassadors of our country. With that being said, delegates, I wish you all the best. I hope that you can succeed in all your future endeavors, and I wish you all become future potential winners in Manos, as Manos, and as individuals itself. So, with that being said, delegates, I will now declare the best delegation award. The best delegation award this time is shared between two winners now. Winner one, in no particular order. The winner of this best delegation trophy are Old Monks and Clarence High School delegation one. I wish you all the best, and I congratulate the winners on the same. With that, delegates, thank you for attending this conference. I really hope that you can attend future conferences, because SJBHS has definitely been one of those conferences that organizes itself in such a way that it can accommodate every individual to the best of their ability. So thank you, delegates. With that, I declare the 9th edition of SJBHS MAN 2021 closed.